voting Slav TV.
Remember how liberals said that it wasn't okay to be white just a few months ago? Well, now it's been revealed that these very same anti-white sentiments are shared by our good friends at Google and YouTube as well. Last week, a former recruiter at YouTube launched a lawsuit against YouTube's parent company Google, alleging that YouTube discriminated against white and Asian male engineers in hiring while perpetuating a toxic culture in its effort to recruit more women and minorities. Alan Wilberg, who worked at Google for 9 years and spent the last 4 at YouTube as a recruiter, said that he was fired in November of 2017 after a long battle over YouTube's hiring practices and culture. Wilberg alleges that in April 2017, he was told to cancel all interviews for junior and mid-level software engineering positions except for those with applicants who were female, Black, or Hispanic, and to purge entirely any applications by non-diverse white and Asian employees from the hiring pipeline. After refusing to carry out the directive, Wilberg claims that he was penalized and threatened with termination, and that he was ultimately fired for resisting company policy. The civil suit, which was launched in the San Mateo County Superior Court in the lunatic liberal La La Land of California, states that for the past several years, Google has had and implemented clear and irrefutable policies memorialized in writing and consistently implemented in practice of systematically discriminating in favor of job applicants who are Hispanic, African American, or female, and against Caucasian and Asian men. According to Wilberg, Google regularly attempted to cover up those hiring practices by circulating emails instructing its employees to purge any and all references to race and gender quotas from its email database in a transparent effort to wipe out any paper trail of Google's illegal practices. Many other YouTube employees also expressed disagreement with these policies and complained at a meeting about the way that managers spoke about black candidates when the team needed to hire more blacks. According to one team member, Google's managers often spoke about blacks as if they were objects. While the story received almost no mainstream media attention, it certainly wasn't the first time that Google's workplace and hiring culture had become the subject of lawsuits from those who allege that the company has gone too far in its attempts to diversify. In 2017, former Google employee James Damore received national media attention after writing an internal company memo in which he claimed that men are more biologically suited for coding work than women. Damore, who was fired for writing the memo, is currently leading a lawsuit against Google as well, reconfirming that Google isn't quite in love with white men who dare to speak out about the company's ridiculous diversity policies. According to 2017 statistics, 91% of Google employees were white and Asian, and while Asians are a minority group in the US population, many critics slammed Google for overrepresenting them along with whites at the workplace. At Google, being a coding genius obviously doesn't work in your favor if you're white or Asian, because the company is too busy looking at people's skin color as opposed to their skills and qualifications. The 2017 statistics also revealed that Google was slow on hiring more employees from underrepresented groups, and this is more than likely the reason why the company has started to turn away white men. For example, the number of black US employees remained stagnant over the past year at 2% of the total workforce and 1% of tech workers. The number of Hispanic and Latino employees also saw little change, increasing from 3% to 4% over the last year. This lack of diversity and unacceptable overflow of whiteness even prompted Google to hire a vice president of diversity who came with a deep conviction that Google provides a platform where she and the team could make a real impact across the tech industry. Basically, Google is saying that there's way too much whiteness in the company and that the only way to make progress going forward is to replace Whitey with Pajit from India and Lakeisha from the hood. According to Google's diversity policy, Google should be a place where people from different backgrounds and experiences come to do their best work, and a place where diversity and inclusion are values critical to success and future innovation. Sure, all of these values are critical to Google's success, unless you're a white male, of course, because then diversity doesn't apply, and in reality it just means less white people and more minorities. As Google and other major companies continue to force diversity into the workplace through insane hiring practices and corporate culture, it's become more than obvious that whites will face the consequences of this liberal corporate lunacy. As we've come to witness, straight white men represent the biggest threat to those who are trying to rip apart Western values, and forcing diversity into the workplace essentially only means less of those same white men. So, no matter how good your skill sets and qualifications really are, just bear in mind that companies like Google do have an agenda, and the only way for us to win the battle against them is to keep on reminding them that it's okay to be white.